publishing lady calls me back again. Yes, ma'am, I'm in, I tell her, my voice raspy from overuse. I'm willing to give it a try. What do I need to say? Want to say? Feel called to say? The wheels in my brain begin to turn. I want to be honest from the get-go. I'm the guy who will count the pages of a chapter before I even start to read. If it's too many, I am easily distracted and overwhelmed. So, in some ways, this book is written for my attention deficit brothers and sisters. The sections are a little shorter. Sometimes I get right to the point, and other times I get sidetracked and ramble a bit. There are lessons learned from dark days and troubled times, stories from confusion and pain. But there's funny stuff too. You gotta laugh. That's what life is. Laughter and pain. Doing your best to find the balance between all the things you can and cannot change. Hopefully, prayerfully, you'll come along for the ride. Because even in my darkest moments, I came to realize I can bring God the crazy, messed up pieces of my life and trust Him to turn it into something that people will be drawn to, something worthwhile, something that would convince you that He wants to do the same for you. This is a book about the unexpected and unplanned, a loose collection of stories, thoughts, and memories. It's a journey out of darkness and back to life. And isn't that the story of most of our lives? Farnsworth Bentley, a network executive producer, calls again. I answer and he starts to speak at a record pace before I can even say hello, all about singers and song parts and the studio's budget. A light on my dash flashes. The sensor says my back tire is slowly going flat, but for now it's safe to keep driving on. I can sure relate to that. Part 1. Dallas. Chapter 1. Never be him. Blessed are all who fear the Lord, who walk in obedience to Him. You will eat the fruit of your labor. Blessings and prosperity will be yours. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. Your children will be like olive shoots around your table. Yes, this will be the blessing for the man who fears the Lord. Psalm chapter 128, verses 1 through 4. There were 63,000 men gathered in Texas Stadium, fathers and sons shouting and chanting and stomping their feet. They were not there to cheer on Troy Aikman and the Cowboys against the 49ers. They had come to hear about the importance of integrity, honor, and keeping one's word. A football stadium jam-packed with men all yelling for Jesus. August in Dallas is blistering hot. I was 12 years old at the time, sitting in the backstage area, waiting. Dad often wanted me to tag along for ministry trips, and his recent stint with Promise Keepers had already taken us to Los Angeles, Kansas City, and Detroit. Nearly 1 million men attended the Stand in the Gap conference at the mall in Washington, D.C. It's crazy watching 1 million people listen as your dad speaks. I was glad to be back in Dallas, closer to home. A rumble echoed through the giant arena as the lights went down. My ears and cheeks burned as the rumble turned into a roar and they announced his name. Tony Evans. That's me. His name is my name too. There were blue-shirted ushers everywhere with Promise Keepers tags around their necks. As Dad began to speak, they looked from him to me, smiling, nodding, and all the expectations that come with carrying that name. I sat listening as my father preached, challenging men to stand strong and stay committed, to guard their hearts and families with their lives, reminding them we can't just call ourselves Christians and not be men of character and truth. They weren't just empty words. If anybody knew that, I did. Dad lived what he preached. Every man in that building was on his feet, many with hands lifted, crying and saying, Amen. The air was charged with hope as he brought his message to a close. If you want a better world made of better countries, the sound of Dad's voice boomed through the corridors and off the concrete walls. Inhabited by better states, made up of better cities that are illuminated by better churches, made up of better families, you have to start by becoming a better you. As the crowd shouted their approval, I shrank back, looking for a place to hide. Though thousands were stirred and encouraged by his message, I could only think one thing. I can never, ever be him. Chapter 2. Growing Up Evans. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, that is, accept their